Growing up, I was always the shy kid in class. I was very insecure, I was weak, and I was generally a pretty drawn-in person. Now, making friends, it really didn't come easy to me. It was hard. I was basically hoping for someone who was more social to come up to me and start talking to me, and then we could kind of hit it off. Now, as a result, I became pretty passive, and it felt quite hopeless because you're just waiting for someone else to make that move. And that's really not what you want. And I was just a very, very shy introvert. My ideal day at the time was basically I would wake up, I would run to my computer, sit behind it, play video games all day because I didn't have to interact with other people. I didn't have to express myself or express my feelings. I would maybe talk to some of my close friends, that would be okay, but preferably not too much. And I thought, really, being an introvert is a massive curse. I thought, if only I was an extrovert, life would be so easy. That would just solve everything. Now, for the longest time, I actually used to think this way, and I thought some people are born introverts and others are born extroverts, and that's just the way it is. But then when I was 21, I looked like this, and I actually had a realization. Because I was thinking to myself, and what I thought is, intellectually, I think I'm pretty okay. However, socially, I really need to do a lot of work to actually get to where I want to be in life. And so I started working on myself. And now I've been working on myself for about 4 or 5 years. And in this time, I've learned a lot. But what I also found out is that being an introvert was actually not a curse at all, but was a really, really nice gift. That's what I want to share with you today. But before we go there, let me share a compliment with you that I recently got, and it really stuck by me. Now, the compliment was this: you seem like the kind of guy who can just talk to anyone. Wow, I thought. Because to 20-year-old me, that sounded like a dream. That sounded like something fictitious, something reserved for the extroverts, and something reserved for the extremely naturally socially outgoing people. And now, I don't know if it's true, but now a few years later, someone is saying this about me. Now, that's pretty cool. So let me start to share with you why I think it's actually powerful to be an introvert. Because as an introvert, and particularly a very shy one, I had to really start here with social skills. So I literally started by reading books on how to make friends, how to actually talk to people. I asked some of my more social friends how to actually do this. And I practiced, and I literally, very slowly went step by step, got a little bit better. And it's not fun at all. It's really, really not. It's terrifying. Doing things you feel so uncomfortable doing, it makes you feel, just nervous. You really don't like it. But there's a massive benefit here. Because when you learn these things and you go through it step by step, you become so extremely aware of what it is that you do and how you do it. And that's great for a few reasons. First of all, if you know how you got from here to here to here, you can figure out, usually, how to get to here. And that's really cool. Now, let's say you're a natural, you've always been here. It may be really hard for you to figure out how to get here. And so over the years, I started picking up these tools for different parts of my lives. And I started building up these toolboxes that I can use to actually get me through these situations that I'm really not comfortable with. And another really good benefit of having these toolboxes is they can help you when you're not feeling well. So let's say I have a day where I'm not energetic at all, I'm very drawn inwards toward myself, and I really just want to spend the whole day in my room just with my own thoughts. But I have to give a presentation. Now I still have these tools that I can use to get the job done. I can know how to posture my body, I can know how to use my voice, and I'm learning how to use, hand gestures. So that's really good. So I think we should all start working on these toolboxes, introvert or extrovert. It's very good to have these, to rely on them. Now, one toolbox that has been extremely important to me is the toolbox of confidence. So let's talk a little bit about that. Because confidence, coming from a very insecure place to now where I'm quite a bit more confident, I can say it makes almost everything a lot easier. Talking to strangers, a lot easier when you're confident. Giving presentations, a lot easier when you're more confident. Or just doing something completely new that you've never done before, going into the unknown, a lot easier when you're more confident. So how do we build confidence? Great question. Now, I found there's one way to build real strong internal confidence, and that's by building your self-respect. And now this may sound trivial, but it's really not. Because if I behave in ways that erode my self-respect, my confidence really goes like this, and it can go fast. But if I consistently behave in ways that improve my self-respect, my confidence goes up with it. So how do we increase the self-respect? Well, I found out a way that works really well for me. And that's by making agreements with myself. I call them my disciplines. And if I stick to these agreements day by day, week by week, and I do this for a long period of time, what it does is it makes you realize that when you decide something, when you make an agreement, it actually means something, and you will get it done. So when I decide to do something for myself, I know I will get it done. That gives a lot of confidence. But also, having these disciplines is great because it will actually take care of you. Now, if you have several disciplines in place, even just very simple ones, it will set you up to win. Let me explain. I could, for the rest of this week, literally do nothing else, nothing besides my basic disciplines, and still come out a better person by the end of it. Now, how cool is that? And my disciplines are simple. All I do is I read, I journal, I wake up early, and I work out. So if I do nothing else for the rest of the week, and by the end of the week, I'll still be stronger, I'll be smarter, and I'll be healthier. That's pretty awesome. And of course, we do other stuff as well during the week. So that's really, really good. But of course, building discipline this way, or confidence this way, it takes time. And we don't always have time, or we want a quick fix. So I also have some quick fixes for you. Now, imagine the following situation. You're at a party, all of your friends have left you, and you don't know anyone. Now you're kind of walking around, you're thinking to yourself, I should really start saying hi to some people, introduce myself, but it costs a lot of energy, it's scary. So what do? Here's what you do. You go find a place to sit, and you sit down just like this. Ideally a couch, but can also be a chair. What you do is you take up some space, and this will make you look more confident and comfortable. Now, an added benefit is it actually gives you some time to think about what you're going to say, how you're going to approach the whole situation. You can come up with a plan and then execute it that way. I don't know if any of you noticed, but also before I had to give this talk, I was sitting like this. Because it's a funny thing the body does. When you're posturing up confidently, or same as when you're smiling, you actually feel that emotion. So it's a nice way to trick your body. Now, life, of course, is not all parties. So I also have some other quick tricks for you. Now you can raise your voice a little bit. You can take up more space, as I already said. Also, just when you're standing, you can smile. That's a great way. And also, eye contact. And now you can practice these things just during the day. And I've done this on and off for years. We just randomly walk down the street, smiling, looking into strangers' people's eyes. Now, you may think it's weird, but it really, really helped a lot. Because I never used to look people in the eyes when I was talking to them before the age of 21. And then I started looking people in the eyes, and I noticed the conversations actually got a whole lot more engaging. And also, some people just have beautiful eyes, which I never really noticed before. Okay, so now that you're getting confident, you're becoming a confident, powerful introvert. Here's perhaps the best part. Because what I noticed that as an introvert, I'm a pretty shy one, I usually had my own thoughts. There was no problem at all. But I really had trouble expressing it, or like living out the things I wanted to do. But now that I'm becoming more confident, I can actually live out these things. And it's great. Because what's more beautiful than a person actually living out their own life and living life just on their own terms? And to illustrate, 2 years ago, I was like, okay, wait, you know what? I'm going to put my studies on pause for a while, and I'm going to move to Taiwan to start a business. Now, 4 years ago, I would have never dreamed of that. And the people around me, they were not like, yeah, you should go do that. But I still did. Now, did it end up working out? No, I decided to come back to finish my studies. But it was my own choice, and that's what matters. Now, I know this may not speak to all of you, but I do think that if you do feel somewhat touched by this or you feel spoken to, then I want to challenge you. Start building those toolboxes. Start getting some tools. Maybe start introducing some of those disciplines into your life. You can start simple. Maybe read a few pages a day. Go for a run every so often, or eat more healthy, or whatever works for you. But whatever you do, when you make the decision, stick to it. That's the important part. And maybe start with just one, and then slowly add more things. That's also how I started. And what I want to finish off with is, what makes an inspirational story is really not where you are, but it's where you came from, the road you had to take. Because imagine you are here, but you were born at this level. Now, that's just luck of the draw, you know? That's like becoming a millionaire by inheriting $1 million. It's not inspirational. But if you started here, and you had to work yourself up, you had to face your fears and overcome your obstacles, now that's the story that really I find super inspirational, and that's the story that I hope those of you who felt somewhat touched by this end up living.
Well, thank you so much, Casper. Not bad at all for an introvert. Good. You were our first speaker.